Will an agreement with the EU today pave the way later in this week for a deal to be done when Boris Johnson heads to Brussels? It's just been announced by Michael Gove that an agreement in principle on all issues in the UK-EU Withdrawal Agreement Joint Committee has been reached. Going to bring you all the very latest in this video, guys, but please make sure that you've hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss future reports here on the channel. Now, the UK Internal Market Bill, of course, backed by MPs. Boris Johnson championed it as being necessary against EU threats. And of course, we saw the House of Lords in big votes time and again seek to remove clauses. Actually, in the House of Commons yesterday, the MPs backed the UK Internal Market Bill clauses again. But we now hear today, just been announced from Michael Gove, that he said that he's delighted to announce agreement in principle on all issues in the UK-EU Withdrawal Agreement Joint Committee. He said thank you to Maros Sefcovic and his team for their constructive and pragmatic approach, and that he'd be updating Parliament tomorrow. The long and short of it is this: the UK is set to withdraw clauses 44, 45 and 47 in the UK Internal Market Bill. These were said to be the most controversial clauses in the UK Internal Market Bill, which would have given ministers the power to unilaterally override elements of the rotten withdrawal agreement. As Bloomberg report, UK scraps law-breaking clauses in deal boost. And there's no doubt about it, this will be, I think, perceived as paving the way now to a deal being done. The UK government is to drop controversial clauses that would rip up parts of the Brexit divorce agreement, bringing an end to a dispute that threatened to derail negotiations on a future trade deal. Bloomberg report, talks over the future trading relationship between the UK and the EU remain deadlocked, with an agreement hanging in the balance. But news of a resolution to the 3-month row over the clauses in the UK Internal Market Bill may help ease the talks on trade. Just to give you a reminder, I mean, clause 44 of the UK Internal Market Bill regarding ministers' power to disapply or modify export declarations and other exit procedures for goods moving from Northern Ireland to Great Britain. In the House of Lords, there are only 148, pretty pitiful really, votes to retain that, versus 407 against, a majority 256. You had 134 Conservatives vote to retain. You had a Brexiteer in Claire Fawkes, former Labour MP Kate Hoey, Nigel Dodds of the DUP, and by the way, the DUP have spoken about against modifying the Internal Market Bill. I'm going to get to that in a minute, but there was 407 against, just to show you how the laws is massively out of control. You had everyone from the Lord Archbishop of Canterbury to 38 Conservatives, including Ken Clarke, former Conservative Party leaders Lord Howard and Lord Haig, all voting to remove the clause. Well, it's now been announced, and Guido with the story. Michael Gove announces agreement in principle with EU on withdrawal agreement implementation. Michael Gove this afternoon has announced that agreement in principle has been reached between the co-chairs of the UK-EU Joint Committee on implementation of the withdrawal agreement. And that means the agreement means that the controversial clauses in the Internal Market Bill will now be ditched for good. In a statement, it was announced that an agreement in principle has been found in the following areas, amongst others: border control posts / entry specifically for checks on animals, plants and derived products, export declarations, the supply of medicines, the supply of chilled meats and other food products to supermarkets, and in clarification on the application of state aid under the terms of the protocol. In view of these mutually agreed solutions, the UK will withdraw clauses 44, 45 and 47 of the UK Internal Market Bill and will not introduce any similar provisions in the taxation bill. As Guido reports, the controversial clauses were written into the UK Internal Market Bill to give the UK a power of last resort in case the EU took advantage of the Joint Committee process and disrupted inter-UK trade. The UK was concerned the EU would threaten to blockade the movement of food and other goods within the UK's internal market. And of course, we saw Prime Minister Boris Johnson, no less, in the Telegraph highlighting that threat, highlighting why the UK Internal Market Bill was so necessary, and as I say, was backed by MPs in the House of Commons. As Guido says, now it appears the EU has formally committed not to do that. Guido awaits to see the text of the agreement. The UK government source telling Guido that Maros Sefcovic and his team We're constructive and pragmatic. We are pleased that we have reached agreement in principle on a package, they say, to apply in all circumstances that will protect Northern Ireland's place in the UK's customs territory, uphold the peace process and give certainty to people and businesses in Northern Ireland. Now, of course, ahead of Prime Minister Boris Johnson heading to Brussels, it would seem this agreement would potentially be coordinated with a deal being done later this week possibly, but it certainly points, I think, to there being a deal done. I've said all the way through this, I think a deal is more likely than not. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. But one interesting report from yesterday, before this announcement, was that in the Belfast Telegraph, DUP unease as UK offers to remove Brexit safety net and internal market bill to get deal. DUP MP Sammy Wilson said Northern Ireland needed the safety net offered in the UK internal market bill as it stands. He quoted, speaking in the House of Commons yesterday, Sammy Wilson said, if those demands that become unreasonable, you need a safety net. And if you need a safety net, you don't need it until those negotiations are over. You need it whilst any part of the withdrawal agreement and the Northern Ireland Protocol is in place. He went on to say that, and therefore I would like assurance from the Minister that if the government does intend to withdraw this safety net, if negotiations turn out fine this week, then what protection will there be for Northern Ireland from the withdrawal agreement in the future? Because that's important. This bill is essential, he said. The government owes it to Northern Ireland, having signed a disastrous agreement this time last year, and the integrity of the UK is, and if the integrity of the UK is to be maintained, then the provisions in this bill, and indeed other provisions, are going to be necessary. So there you go, Michael Gove announcing an agreement in principle with the EU on the withdrawal agreement implementation. As I said, and as others are already reporting, this would seem to point to a deal becoming more likely. I'm sure Brexiteers are going to be wary of this. Let me know what you think in the comments below, guys. Do you think now this means a deal will be done, or do you still think that Boris Johnson, the government, could walk away? What impact do you see this having on the negotiations? But the bottom line is the UK will withdraw 3 clauses from the UK internal market bill and has effectively said that it will not introduce any similar provisions in the taxation bill. That's the very latest, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as ever, if you found it helpful and informative, please give this video a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And of course, as ever, if you want to support my work, you can hit the join button and check out the link in the top pinned comment. I'll put a link to become a supporter there as well. And of course, guys, as ever, thank you so much for watching.